Good morning, students. This is Arvind, Assistant Professor, Department of EEE, PBR, Viswadaya Institute of Technology and Science, Kavali. So, in this class, I am going to start the HVDC transmission subject. So, this subject belongs to the final year second semester EEE students. So, you actually know about the HVDC transmission. So, in each subject, we have 5 units. So, in this subject also, we have 5 units. So firstly, I will start with the first chapter, that is Introduction to HVDC Transmission. Introduction to HVDC Transmission. So in this one, the syllabus for the unit 1 is, firstly I will start with the introduction to the HVDC transmission. So in this one I am going to teach the topic, that is earlier discoveries of HVDC, and after that I am going to discuss the technical and economical comparison of HVAC and HVDC transmission, which comprises of technical performance and economics of transmission and reliability. And after that I am going to discuss the types of DC links. So actually we have three types of DC links. Those are monopolar, bipolar and homopolar DC links. And after that I am going to teach you the topic, that is power handling capabilities of HVDC lines. And after that I am going to start the topic, that is static conversion principles. And after that I am going to discuss the static converter configuration. Like that I am going to discuss, or I am going to teach each and every topic in this subject or in this chapter. So today I am going to discuss the earlier discoveries of HVDC along with the block diagram of HVDC, or basic operation of HVDC. So before going to the topic, these are the two textbooks we are using for this subject. So that is HVDC Power Transmission Systems by K.R. Padayar, third edition, that is New Age International Published 2015. And after that, similarly, we are using the textbook, that is HVDC Transmission by S. Kamakshaya V. Kamaraju, that is belongs to the McGraw Hill Education India Private Limited 2011. And we have few reference books also. So these are the three reference books we are using, that is Direct Current Transmission Volume 1. Author is E.W. Kimberg Ville 1971, and second one is High Voltage Direct Current Transmission by Jos Erliga, IEEE Power and Energy Series 29, that is second edition 1998. And third book is EHVAC HVDC Transmission and Distribution Engineering by S. Rao, Kanna Publishers, fourth edition 2008. Okay, so firstly I will start with the earlier discoveries. Okay, so actually the industrial growth of nation requires increased consumption of energy, particularly electrical energy. So actually in the ancient days, in the history, we are using firstly we are using the DC transmission only, but with low voltage. So because of the industrialization, that means because of the industrial growth of a nation, so that's why we are increasing the uh, load demand. And after that, if we increase the load demand means, we have to increase the generation, distribution and transmission, like that. So because of the industrialization, we have to increase the generation, transmission and distribution along with the increased demand. Okay, so this has led to increase in generation and transmission facilities to meet the increasing demand. So actually in the developing countries like India, so for every 10 years the demand is doubling. So but compared to the developed countries like USA, so in the USA the load demand is increasing year by year, that too in the double numbers. Okay, so in so after that I am going to discuss this one, that is HVDC transmission was designed by French engineer. uh, His name is Renault Thierry. Simultaneously, the system was also developed slowly. Okay, so actually, the basic HVDC transmission was designed by French engineer. His name is Renault Thierry. So after that, simultaneously, AC system was also developed slowly. But why we are going into the HVDC means, so actually in the earlier days we are using the DC transmission with low voltage. So but because of some economic problems, we are using AC system also, that is also consisting of the low voltage. Okay, So because of some difficulties in the AC system, we are not using the AC system with low voltage. That is, we are facing so many problems like stability problems, power power transfer problems, and voltage level problems. Like that, we are facing the problems. So because of those problems, we are using the HVDC system, mainly DC system. So in the earlier days, the DC system, for example, if we take one generating station, so from the generating station, we are transferring the power from one generating station to the load point. So at the same time, we have to transfer the power from the generating station to the remote area. So it will take more time, and it will take cost wise, it is economic, it is more economic, it is higher cost. So that's why we are going to the AC system because of those difficulties, that is stability problems, power transfer problems, and so many problems. We are don't using AC transmission. So at that time, in the French, one scientist named Rene Curie was designed on HVDC transmission system. So at that time, simultaneously AC system was also developed. So in between 1880 to 1911, at least 11 theory systems were installed in Europe. In whole Europe, they installed 11 theory systems. Okay, so the prominent was um, motors to lines, that is in the French in 1906. So that HVDC system, transmission system, consists of the capacity, that is 180 kilometers length, that means a 4.5 kilometers underground cable, and it have the capacity of 4.3 megawatts, and it having the load operating voltage, that is 57.6 kV, and the current, that is 75 amperes they used. And after that, we are using in 1920 the transverter, that is mechanical converter polyphase transformer, were developed in 1920. The transverter were developed. Again, AC system dominated. After that, the AC system is dominated. So in 1938, all the theory system were dismantled. So in 1938, all the theory system were dismantled. So actually, in the 1880, we used this theory system, but in 1938, all the theory system were dismantled because in DC system we need frequent maintenance. Cost also is not effective. So for those reasons, we dismantled the theory system in 1938. Okay, so again AC revolution back till 1950. Okay, after dismantling of the theory system, again AC revolution back till 1950. So in the year of 1950, the mercury arc valves, it was possible to convert AC to DC. Okay, the mercury arc valves were used to convert the power from one form to another form by using the mercury arc valves. These are the first valves we are using for the conversion. So in 1954, first HVDC system between Sweden and Gotland is established, was commenced by cable, by using the cable, and conversion carried out by the mercury arc rectifier. Okay, mercury arc rectifier. So again, people think about the DC transmission because of the limitation in AC system. So if you use the AC system, we have some limitations. Those limitations are discussed in the earlier. That is, stability problems occurred, and power transfer problems occurred, and voltage problems occurred, like that. So because of those limitations in AC system, people think about the DC transmission. Okay. So and then in the DC transmission now became practical when long distances were to be covered where cables were required. This is the main point. So DC transmission now become practical when long distances were to be covered, whereas where cables were required. So thyristors were applied to DC transmission, and solid state valves become a reality. So in place of mercury arc valves, we used the thyristors because of the advancements in the technology. The mercury arc valves is replaced with the thyristors, and after that, the thyristors also replaced with the GTOs, IGBTs, IGCTs, etc. Like that, we replaced the valves. So at present, we are using thyristors for the DC transmission. Okay, so in the beginning, all HVDC schemes used mercury arc valves. Okay, in the beginning, you know already this point. So in the beginning, all HVDC schemes used mercury arc valves. So invariably single phase in construction, in contrast to the low voltage polyphase units used for industrial application. Okay, so about 1960, control electrodes were added to silicon diodes, giving silicon control rectifiers. Those are SCRs or thyristors. So about 1960, control electrodes were added to silicon diodes, giving silicon control rectifiers. Those are SCRs or thyristors. Okay, so this is the fast development of converters. This is the fast development of converters. That means we are using in the converter station, we are using the rectifiers and inverters. So those are at higher voltages and larger currents. So DC transmission has become a major factor in the planning of the power transmission. Okay, so HVDC transmission system also been introduced in India. Okay, so those operating voltage is plus or minus 500 kilovolts has been selected as the voltage for HVDC transmission. So a plus or minus 500 kV, 1500 megawatts and 18 kilometers bipolar HVDC line is set up between Ranchi and Delhi. So this is belongs to the India. So in the previous slide we discussed about the HVDC transmission link. So that is established between the Sweden and Gotland in Europe. But this HVDC line is established between Ranchi and Delhi. Those operating voltage is 500 k plus or minus 500 kV, and the operating range is 1500 megawatts, and the length between those Ranchi and Delhi is 810 kilometers. That too, it is a bipolar HVDC line. So actually, initially the HVDC transmission, the HVDC line uses the monopolar link or monopolar line. So because of the increase in the load demand, that means at that time the monopolar link is converted into bipolar link. Okay, like that we are converting the monopolar to bipolar. Okay, so and after that, so at present, so now at present the world has over 50 HVDC links in operation for a total capacity of more than 50,000 megawatts, and the capacity is increased by about 2000 megawatts every year. So at present the world has over 50 HVDC links in operation for a total capacity of more than 50,000 megawatts, and the capacity is increased by about 2000 megawatts every year. Okay, so today the highest functional DC voltage for DC transmission is plus or minus 600 kilovolts, and now we are using plus or minus 800 kilovolts also, or 750 kilovolts also we are using. That is the highest functional DC voltage for DC transmission. Okay, and DC transmission is now an integral part of the delivery of electricity in many countries throughout the world. Okay, the DC transmission is now an integral part of the delivery of electricity in many countries throughout the world. So that means if we define the HVDC means, that is the HVDC is a highly efficient alternative for transmitting large amount of electricity over long distances and for special purpose applications. This is the definition for the HVDC. What is meant by HVDC? So HVDC is a highly efficient alternative for transmitting large amount of electricity over long distances and for special purpose applications and for special purpose applications. Okay, and coming to the block diagram of HVDC system. So actually this is the block diagram of HVDC system. So here I am taking two ends, that is the sending end and receiving end. So in between the sending and receiving end, we are using one generating station, that is belongs to the sending end, and after that we are using one step up transformer. Why we are using step up transformer means, if you want to increase the AC voltage level. Why I am telling the AC voltage means, so actually the generating station produces the AC voltage or AC power supply at low voltages. Okay, so that low AC voltage is converted into high voltage by using the step up transformer. So after increasing the voltage level, it is given to the rectifier station. So at the rectifier station, this rectifier station converts the AC voltage to DC voltage, and after that it is given to the filter. Why we are giving the DC voltage to the filter means, so actually from the rectifier station we are not getting the purified DC. So we are getting only the pulsating DC. So for that reason, I am taking that pulsating DC to the filtering. So that filter is used to reduce the harmonics and purify that supply, the DC supply into the pure form. So that pure form of DC is given to the inverter station. So this inverter station converts the DC supply to AC, and after conversion of the supply from DC to AC, it is given to the step down transformer, which is connected at the receiving end. So this step down transformer is used to reduce the voltage level up to some point. Why? Because if you want to use for the home appliances, for the home, we have to use the low voltage. That's why the step down transformer is used on the receiving end. So this is the block diagram of HVDC system. So here I am explaining the one by one. So I already explained, but again I am explaining this one. So the generating station which is connected at the sending end. So the generating station will generate the three-phase 50 Hz AC supply. Okay, so this AC supply is given to the step-up transformer. So at that time, the step-up transformer transforms the low AC voltage to a higher AC voltage, and then given to the rectifier station. So the rectifier converts AC voltage to a DC voltage by the thyristor valve for transmission. So by using filters, the harmonics and ripple content will be reduced. Okay, by using the filters, the harmonics and ripple content will be reduced. So after that, we have in receiving end inverting station. So that inverting station converts DC voltage to AC voltage by thyristor valves, and then step it down by a step down transformer. So here the DC power flow control is possible by varying the firing angles of both controllers. Okay, so the DC power flow control is possible by varying the firing angles of both controllers, that is rectifier station and inverter station. So in rectifier station, firing angle varies from 0 degrees to 90 degrees, while inverting station varies from 90 degrees to 180 degrees. So here we are using the bidirectional power flow is possible by changing the firing angles of the converters. So actually, up to in the earlier days, I already said that. So in the earlier days, we are using the DC voltage with low DC supply, DC transmission with low voltage. So because of some difficulties in the DC transmission over the long distances, because of the economic point of view, we are using the AC. But because of some limitations in the AC system, we are again back to the DC system with high voltage. So at that time, we are used the HVDC transmission for the transmission purpose. That means in the sending and receiving end we are using the AC supply only, but only transmission purpose we are using the DC supply. Okay, for the transmission purpose only we are using the DC supply. Okay, so that's why this DC power flow control is possible by varying the firing angles of both controllers, that is rectifier and inverter. So rectifier operation means the firing angle varies from 0 to 90 degrees, and the inverting station varies from 90 to 90 degrees. So the bidirectional DC power flow is possible by changing the firing angles of the converters. Okay. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Okay, so in this class I discussed about the mainly about the earlier discoveries of HVDC. Okay, and in the next class I am going to teach you about the comparison between HVAC and HVDC, which consists of economics of transmission and technical performance and reliability issues. So those topics I am going to cover in the next class. Okay, thank you.